We knew knife crime in London was bad, but 40 offences a day? This is a real crisis. If you heard that 40 blade offences were being committed in your hometown every single day, you'd be perfectly sane to stop and wonder why the police weren't doing anything about it. But in London, it's considered normal, just a part of everyday life. It's crazy, and Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, just goes about his business as usual, sticking his nose into the Brexit negotiations as if it's got anything to do with him, spending £2.3 million on pro-EU fireworks and waltzing round like he's the king of the bloody world. Meanwhile, families are having their lives destroyed. In London, British people are going jobless and homeless. Communities are more divided than ever in our capital city, and people are being stabbed on a regular basis. Make no mistake, this is a crisis. This isn't just a minor political matter that he can maybe bring up once he's up for re-election. This is much more than that. And just 5 days after it was announced that 40 blade offences are being committed in London every single day, 2 teenagers were arrested after brutally stabbing a man to death in Islington. Now, on this knife crime epidemic sweeping Sadiq Khan's London, The Standard reported, the Office for National Statistics said a total of 14,847 knife offences were recorded in the capital during the 12 months to the end of September last year. The tally, which included 83 knife killings and 161 rapes or sexual assaults carried out with a blade, is 140 fewer than the all-time high of 14,987 registered in the previous rolling annual statistics released 3 months ago. But it is still one of the largest 12-month totals ever in the capital. It also amounts to an increase of more than 50% since 2015. And Sadiq Khan doesn't seem to be all that bothered about it. He was given a great opportunity not just to discuss the problem, but to listen and learn about the problem when he was offered the chance to take part in a BBC TV debate on knife crime. Now, this TV debate saw a grieving uncle talk about the civil war going on in our streets. And by the way, that's something I've said before and that I got called every name under the sun for saying. But make no mistake, this is a civil war on our streets in our capital city. The audience also explained how they felt that the Mayor of London wasn't treating knife crime as his #1 priority, and who can blame them? Now, if Sadiq Khan had stopped, gone to this thing, cancelled whatever prior engagement he had, and just gone to this and listened to concerned people of London, perhaps he would have listened and, learned something and thought about ways that it could be solved. Maybe realised that his direction wasn't quite right. Maybe listening to the people would have helped him improve things in London, but no, he didn't turn up. He not just didn't turn up, by the way, he refused to take part. And to be honest, I doubt he even watched it. With 40 blade offences taking place in London every single day, a civil war on the streets of our capital city, and the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, refusing to turn up to a BBC TV debate where he could have heard and learned from the grieving families in London, I think it's time for drastic change in London. For all the talk about imposing martial law in the UK if we leave the European Union without a deal, I think those resources might be better spent sending in the authorities, the police, and even maybe the armed forces into our capital city to start taking on this knife crime crisis. It's time to crack down on crime, tackle the sources of those crimes, take on the social cohesion problem that Sadiq Khan refuses to even admit exists, and ensure that criminal scum are locked up and prevented from committing these awful attacks ever again. Sadiq Khan, you are destroying our beautiful capital city, and I think it's time for real drastic change. We're not funded by the government, we don't have big sponsors, and we certainly don't have massive donors. If you'd like to help support our work, please go to rebeldonations.com/thebuck.